Mistake 1. Watches disproportionate to your wrist and context. Let's start with the most visible error, wearing watches with dimensions unsuitable for your wrist. The problem isn't just aesthetic, it's a matter of balance and proportion that communicates your attention to detail. When we opt for an excessively large watch, those over 44 mm on an average or thin wrist, we create an image of someone trying to compensate for something or seeking attention. On the other hand, a watch that's too small on a robust wrist looks outdated, conveying a lack of updating. The solution is pragmatic. Honestly evaluate your wrist size. For men with medium wrists, 17-19 cm, watches between 38 to 42 mm generally work best. If your wrist is more robust, consider models up to 44 mm. For thinner wrists, models between 36 to 40 mm create a more elegant balance. The goal isn't to maximize the watch's presence, but to integrate it harmoniously into your look. I made this mistake for years, wearing an oversized 46 mm watch that I thought was imposing, until a mentor discreetly asked if I was compensating for something with that hockey puck on my wrist. If you're finding value in these observations, subscribe to the channel for more insights based on real experience. Mistake 1. Watches disproportionate to your wrist and context. Let's start with the most visible error, wearing watches with dimensions unsuitable for your wrist. The problem isn't just aesthetic, it's a matter of balance and proportion that communicates your attention to detail. When we opt for an excessively large watch, those over 44 mm on an average or thin wrist, we create an image of someone trying to compensate for something or seeking attention. On the other hand, a watch that's too small on a robust wrist looks outdated, conveying a lack of updating. The solution is pragmatic. Honestly evaluate your wrist size. For men with medium wrists, 17-19 cm, watches between 38 to 42 mm generally work best. If your wrist is more robust, consider models up to 44 mm. For thinner wrists, models between 36 to 40 mm create a more elegant balance. The goal isn't to maximize the watch's presence, but to integrate it harmoniously into your look. I made this mistake for years, wearing an oversized 46 mm watch that I thought was imposing, until a mentor discreetly asked if I was compensating for something with that hockey puck on my wrist. If you're finding value in these observations, subscribe to the channel for more insights based on real experience. Mistake 2. Sports watches in formal contexts, and vice versa. What's even more revealing? The ability to choose the right watch for each context. Many of us make the mistake of using the same watch for all occasions, ignoring implicit codes. When we show up at a formal event wearing a robust diving watch or practice sports with a delicate dress watch, we communicate a lack of refinement. It's like wearing sneakers with a suit or dress shoes to play tennis. It simply doesn't make sense. The sophisticated approach is to develop a small collection with at least 2 or 3 watches for different contexts. A classic and discreet model with a leather strap for formal environments. A more robust watch with a steel or rubber strap for casual everyday wear. And, if necessary, a specific model for sports activities. I understood this when, during an award dinner, I noticed I was the only executive at the table wearing a bulky sports watch with my suit. While everyone was wearing elegant and discreet pieces, my flashy instrument seemed to scream that I didn't belong in that environment. If these tips are making sense to you, how about leaving a like on the video? It's a simple gesture that makes all the difference, as each interaction helps our content reach more people who deserve access to this information. Mistake 3. Questionable quality and obvious replicas. This is a delicate topic. The question of authenticity and quality. Many men, even in leadership positions, fall into the trap of wearing obvious replicas of prestigious brands. When we choose to wear an evident replica of a luxury watch, we take a huge risk. To trained eyes, and many executives, clients, and partners know watches, this choice communicates dishonesty or insecurity. It's like presenting fake credentials in an interview. Once discovered, the damage to credibility is irreparable. The solution isn't necessarily to spend a fortune. It's more respectable to wear an authentic watch from an accessible brand than an obvious imitation. Brands like Seiko, Hamilton, and Tissot offer excellent watches at reasonable prices, with quality that often exceeds their price ranges. I had a colleague who always displayed a low-quality replica of a famous Swiss watch. During a meeting with a watch enthusiast client, the embarrassment was palpable when the client asked about the authenticity of that interesting piece. Have you ever experienced an embarrassing situation involving watches? Share in the comments. Mistake 4. Neglecting maintenance and conservation. The fourth mistake is surprisingly common: neglecting proper watch maintenance and conservation. A well-chosen but poorly maintained watch can completely compromise your message. When we wear watches with dried leather straps, scratched crystals, excessively worn cases, or showing the wrong time, we send a message of carelessness. It's like wearing a quality suit but wrinkled and stained. The potential is there, but the execution fails. The correct approach includes simple routines: regularly cleaning the watch, properly storing it when not in use, replacing leather straps when they show wear, and performing preventive maintenance as recommended. For automatic watches, consider a watch winder if you don't wear them daily. I realized the importance of this when, after a presentation to investors, a mentor told me, "Your presentation was impeccable, but your watch showed the wrong time throughout." Some noticed, and it raised questions about your attention to detail. If you're seeing the value of these observations, don't forget to leave your like and subscribe to the channel. Mistake 5. Excessive visual or functional complexity. Now a more subtle mistake: excessive visual or functional complexity. This problem especially affects men who are starting to take a more serious interest in watches after 40. When we opt for excessively complex models with multiple subdials, tachymeters, chronographs, and complications we rarely use, we risk appearing to be trying to compensate with technology for what we lack in real knowledge. It's like buying an expensive professional camera just to take photos in automatic mode. It reveals more insecurity than sophistication. The more elegant approach is to prioritize readability and actual functionality. A classic watch with clean design and only the functions you actually use communicates confidence. If you're not a pilot, astronaut, or professional diver, you probably don't need the specific complications of these professions on your wrist daily. I had this revelation when, after acquiring a watch with multiple complications, I realized I spent more time explaining how it worked than using those functions. A more experienced colleague told me, "A true connoisseur chooses a watch for what it doesn't have, not for what it has." Have you ever found yourself attracted to complex watches more for their visual appeal than their utility? Share your experience in the comments. Mistake 6. Ignoring coherence with your personal and professional style. Finally, the sixth mistake: ignoring the coherence between your watch and your personal and professional style. This mistake affects successful men who understand watches as isolated objects, not as elements of an integrated visual system. The problem occurs when the chosen watch doesn't talk to the rest of our look and position. A conservative executive wearing an extremely avant-garde watch or a creative director with an excessively traditional watch both create a dissonance that compromises authenticity. The solution is to consciously align your choice of watches with your personality, industry, and the message you want to convey. Your watch should be a natural extension of your identity, not a contradiction. An executive in a conservative environment might opt for classic models. An entrepreneur or creative can explore independent brands or more distinctive designs while maintaining quality and good taste. I understood this when, after years of collecting watches that I admired individually, I realized that some simply didn't make sense on my wrist. A friend who specializes in executive image explained, "Your watch isn't just an object, it's a statement about who you are. It should complement your story, not tell a different story." To recap, the 6 watch mistakes men over 40 should avoid are choosing disproportionate models, wearing watches inappropriate for the context, opting for questionable quality or replicas, neglecting maintenance, falling into excessive complexity, and ignoring coherence with your personal style. Correcting these mistakes doesn't necessarily require a large investment. It requires awareness, strategy, and honesty with yourself. At 40 plus, your watch shouldn't scream for attention, but whisper authority and attention to detail. If this content was useful, leave your like, subscribe to the channel, and activate notifications. Next week, I'll share a guide on how to build a versatile and accessible watch collection. Which of these mistakes have you identified in your own watch wearing and plan to correct first? Share your experience in the comments.